6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has emphasized that the Kashmir issue has to be settled and cannot be kept boiling. The Foreign Minister says India's massive acquisition of conventional arms coupled with offensive posture poses threat to regional peace and security. The Information Minister says Pakistan is ready to hold talks with the new Indian leadership, whatever it may, for normalization of bilateral relations. The President has called for exploring the possibilities to enhance trade and economic cooperation between Pakistan and Kazakhstan. In occupied Kashmir, the Hurriyat leadership has called for complete shutdown tomorrow to protest against the first phase of the so-called Indian parliamentary elections and brutal measures against the Kashmiri people. Egypt's Mohammed Al-Sherbini won the Chief of the Air Staff International Squash Tournament, beating Pakistan's Farhan Mehboob by 3-2 in Islamabad today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has emphasized that the Kashmir issue has to be settled and cannot be kept boiling. In an interview with BBC, he said the two nuclear-armed neighbors could only settle their differences with dialogue. Imran Khan said peace with India over the disputed territory of Kashmir would have tremendous effect on the entire region. He said if India comes back to attack Pakistan, Pakistan would have no choice but to respond. The Prime Minister said liberation movement in Kashmir is a political struggle and there is no military solution to the issue. Prime Minister Imran Khan, along with the Punjab Chief Minister Usman Khan Buzdar, met the heirs of the Sahiwal tragedy in Lahore today. Talking to them, the Prime Minister said, a human life that has been lost can never be replaced. He said the government equally shares the grief and sorrow of the families of the victims. The Prime Minister also distributed checks among the heirs of the victims of the Sahiwal tragedy. It is worth mentioning that 4 people, including a husband, wife, their teenage daughter, and a driver, were killed in an operation in Sahiwal in January this year. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has said India's massive acquisition of conventional arms coupled with offensive posture poses threat to regional peace and security. Addressing a national conference on strategic stability in South Asia in Islamabad today, he said Pakistan will maintain credible minimum deterrence to ensure its national security. The Foreign Minister said Pakistan is a peace-loving country and our conduct as a nuclear state will continue to be defined by restraint and responsibility. He said Pakistan is opposed to conventional and unconventional arms race in the region. Reaffirming Pakistan's commitment to build a prosperous and peaceful region, the Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has said conflict resolution is the key to strategic stability in the region. He said Pakistan remains steadfast to improve its relations with neighboring countries to build a prosperous South Asia. About the Kashmir dispute, Shah Mahmood Qureshi said Indian denial to the Kashmiris' inalienable right to self-determination and its blatant human rights violations have led to frustration amongst the Kashmiri youth. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has said Pakistan desires peaceful relations with all the neighboring countries in the region. Chairing the 4th consultative meeting on foreign affairs in Islamabad today, he said we want to resolve all outstanding issues with India through dialogue. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said Pakistan will continue its cooperation for peace and stability in the region and Afghan peace process. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Chaudhry Fawad Hussain, says Pakistan is ready to hold talks with the new Indian leadership, whatever it may, for normalization of bilateral relations and to move things forward. In an interview with the Hindustan Times, the minister said Pakistani leadership believes that there will be no forward movement until the election process in India is completed. He said diplomatic channels that were used to reduce tensions in the aftermath of the Pulwama terror attack remained operational, albeit in the backdrop. Fawad Chaudhry said Islamabad is looking towards engaging with the new dispensation in New Delhi after the completion of the Indian elections. Pakistan is aggressively pursuing reforms to create ease of doing business in the country. This was stated by the Prime Minister's advisor on commerce, Abdul Razak Daud, and the Chairman Board of Investment, Harun Sharif, at a joint media briefing in Islamabad this afternoon. They said Pakistan has improved its ranking by 11 points in Doing Business Report 2019 for the first time in 1 year. This is Radio Pakistan. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, has called for exploring the possibilities to enhance trade and economic cooperation between Pakistan and Kazakhstan. Talking to the Kazakhstan ambassador Barlibay Sadikov in Islamabad today, he urged Kazakhstan to facilitate access of Pakistani commodities to its markets. The president highlighted the need to explore the possibilities of cooperation and joint ventures in sectors like food processing, textiles, machinery and equipment, construction and infrastructure as well. He said, given the abundance of oil and gas in Kazakhstan, Pakistan's state-owned companies can explore and invest in Kazakh oil and gas sectors. Dr. Arif Alvi underscored the need for establishing air and land connectivity between the two countries, as Pakistan can provide Kazakhstan the shortest route through the newly developed Gavada port. He appreciated the principled position taken by Kazakhstan for non-discriminatory expansion of the nuclear suppliers group's membership. The president underlined that Pakistan is extending e-visa facilitation to 175 countries, including Kazakhstan, and urged Kazakhstan to consider introducing visa ease process for Pakistani tourists and businessmen as well. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, has stressed that the Auditor General Office should employ latest techniques to make the audit process more effective. He was talking to the Auditor General of Pakistan, Javed Jahangir, who called on him in Islamabad today. Dr. Arif Alvi appreciated the performance of the Auditor General Office, saying the department is doing a national service by promoting transparency. In occupied Kashmir, the Joint Resistance Leadership, while releasing the protest calendar, has called for a complete shutdown in the territory tomorrow on the first phase of the so-called Indian parliamentary elections, as well as the brutal measures against the Kashmiri people and their leadership. The Joint Resistance Leadership, in a statement in Srinagar today, said the strike is also aimed at protesting against the National Investigation Agency aggression, which includes the shifting of the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front chairman, Mohammad Yasin Malik, to New Delhi's Tihar jail under the pretext of questioning by the National Investigation Agency, rigorous questioning of the Mirwais Umar Farooq in Delhi, and sustained interrogation and repeated summoning of two sons of the All Parties Hurriyat Conference chairman, Sayyid Ali Gilani, to Delhi by the National Investigation Agency. Afghanistan has welcomed the European Union's support for Afghan peace process. The Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, in a statement, said in Kabul, I'll repeat that. The Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, in a statement, said this in Kabul, that the Council of the European Union recommended early direct negotiations between Afghans, the Kabul government, and the Taliban. He said principled stance by the European Union not only endorses the significance of the Afghan constitution, but also underlines the achievements of the Afghan people and the government. President Ghani also stressed that the European Union has successful experiences as well as guarantor for peace agreements in different countries. In Afghanistan, 11 Taliban have been killed and many others injured in clashes with the government forces in Maruf district of Kandahar province. The police sources said Taliban fighters armed with guns and rocket-propelled grenades attacked a key police checkpoint at midnight in Maruf district. In Brussels, the European leaders are to meet today for an emergency summit to decide whether to offer the United Kingdom another delay to Brexit. Prime Minister Theresa May wants to postpone the date the United Kingdom leaves the European Union beyond this Friday until 30th of June. And now squash. Egypt's Mohammad Al-Sherbini won the Chief of the Air Staff International Squash Tournament, beating Pakistan's Farhan Mehboob in the final by 3-2 at Musaf Squash Complex, Islamabad today. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is likely to prevail in most parts of the country, while very hot weather has been forecast for South Punjab and Sindh during the next 24 hours. However, dust, thunderstorm, rain with gusty winds is expected at isolated places in Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Dera Ghazi Khan, Sargodha, Faisalabad, Malakand, Hazara, Peshawar, Kohat, Mardan, Bannu, Dera Ismail Khan, Quetta, Job, Kalat divisions, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Kashmir. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.